Hi everyone, my name is Bosse, and as you can see from the title, this will be my labour and delivery story. So my daughter Abigail was born on the 30th of June. So sorry if I'm looking down, I am looking at my notes just to make sure I'm keeping on track. She was born on the 30th of June, and my labour wasn't really what I expected, but I'm just thankful to God because everything was okay in the end. It all started around Wednesday. So Barry Mash was born on the 30th of June. So around Wednesday, on the 27th, I was just feeling like really sharp pains, but I didn't really understand what sort of how I didn't know whether they were contractions, whether they were not contractions. So I just told my partner, I said, let's go to the hospital and just check it out. So I got to the hospital. They kept me for about 4 hours before a midwife finally came and was just like, oh, it's probably early signs of labour. We can't really do anything about it. You're just going to have to bear through it, kind of thing. And they didn't offer to check me. They were like, no, we can't check you because it's still too early. Your waters haven't broken, so there's no point of doing an examination. So I was still feeling a lot of pain, but I thought, you know what, I'll just try and go home and see if I can just soldier through it. Because at that point, like, the pain just kept coming. It just kept coming, just kept coming. Like every half an hour, the pain was just coming. So I went back home that day, and I wasn't feeling too good as well. Like, I was still feeling a little bit sick, but I was able to just get through that day, and then that was kind of that. Then the next day, the pain, it's like the intensity just continued. And then I thought, no, I couldn't, from that Wednesday when I came home from the hospital, around 6 o'clock in the evening till Thursday, I couldn't even sleep. Like, I was just constantly feeling the pain, and the baby was just moving. Abigail was really moving. So it was just a lot for me. I was thinking, oh my God, am I going to go into labour? Am I not? But my waters hadn't broken. So I thought, probably not going to go into labour yet. So then on the Thursday, around like the evening time, that's when I then saw the bloody shows, like that, like mucusy, like sticky stuff. So I called the midwife. I'm like, okay, I've seen this, what shall I do? Because I don't really know. And she was just like, oh, don't worry. It's probably your bloody show. You're probably not going to go into labour for now. Don't worry about it. Just try and do your, breathing exercises. Try and like walk about. And this was on the Thursday. And I just thought, okay, I'll just kind of see how it goes. I tried to sleep. So I slept for a bit, woke up. And then I just thought, okay, I really need to try and take my mind off it, and went out for a walk, came back, tried to rest. And then that was that. It got to Friday, the 29th of June. That's when I couldn't take it. It was around like 6 o'clock in the evening. It just felt, the pain was so sharp, really sharp. And I thought, oh my God, I can't do this. Like, I need to just get to the hospital now, kind of thing. And from that Tuesday, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then obviously Friday, the 29th of June, I'd been leaking, but I didn't really think that it was the water, because I was expecting, I don't know, I was expecting the water to just kind of like burst once I was like in labour, but it never really happened like that. So I thought, okay, I can't take this. So on the Friday, the 29th, I said to my partner around 6 in the evening, let's just go to the hospital. I can't, like, the pain is too much. So we drove to the hospital now. And one of the midwives said, okay, well, we'll take you to the room. She didn't really take me seriously. And I was like, oh my God, like, I can't do this, like, help. And they're just walking around, not really phased. And I was just like, please give me something for the pain. I'm feeling too much pain. She was like, oh, okay, don't worry, we'll come back. Then she went to go and get paracetamol. She gave me paracetamol. And I was just like, I need something stronger. Like, this pain, it's not helping. I need something stronger. Then she walked off again. She didn't come back to about like another 2 hours, because I kept requesting for more drugs, and she still wanted to give it to me. So I think around... So all that at 6, around 8 o'clock, she then swapped with another midwife, because I think they do their change at 8 p.m. So then I had another midwife, and then when she came on board, she was now like, oh, have you seen the fluid, and I was like, amniotic fluid, and I was just like, oh, I'm not sure, but yesterday when I had a bit of the bloody show, I think some water came out, and she was just like, oh, okay, you know, put on the pad, let's see, and then if there's no water, we'll check you, and then if there's not enough movement, we're sending you back home. At that point, I was just like, I'm not going anywhere. My partner was there, my mother-in-law was there, and my mum was there. So at this point, I was just like, oh, I can't. And when I got there, I was just constantly just throwing up. And I couldn't stop. And then midwife came back and she's like, what's going on? I was like, I keep throwing up. So she was now like, okay, we have to give you an injection, an injection to stop me from vomiting. And then she gave that to me. That kind of settled me for a bit, but the contractions were so strong. She then said, okay, I was around, bearing in mind I got there at 6 p.m. She didn't check me till 9 p.m. She didn't actually do any internal examinations till 9 p.m. So she checked me at 9 p.m. and she was now like, oh, you're at, I think I was 6 centimeters. And I was just like, I've been sitting here in pain for the last 3 hours. Nobody thought, oh, let's just check her and see progress. No, they checked me at 9 p.m. I was 6 centimeters. I was like, oh my God, thank God. Like, I'm getting somewhere. Then that's at that point, that's when they gave me the gas and air. So I was feeling pain from 6 o'clock. They didn't give me the gas and air until 9 p.m. So I was sucking on the gas and air, just feeling really high. At the same time, I was feeling really hot because that day it was so hot outside. I think it was about like 30 degrees or something. It was boiling. And then I was just trying to soldier through. The contractions kept coming. Then I think around 11 o'clock, that's when I went into, because I had like a separate room with the inside in the room. It had my own separate toilet, bathroom, that sort of thing. So I went into the bath and had a bath for about, I don't even know how long, maybe 40 minutes. Then my mum was in the main room and she was just like, oh, Bosse, you need to come out of the bath. Like, you can't stay inside the bath. You're not here to have a water bath. You need to come back onto the bed. Mum pulls out the plug from the bath and says like, no, you need to get out now. The midwife comes back in and be like, you know, don't worry, you're doing fine. And this was around 11 o'clock. So from 9 o'clock, she gave me the gas and air. So I got to about 11. I was like to the nurse, please check me. I want an epidural. She's like, oh, okay, there's a procedure. I was like, no, please, like, check me now. I want an epidural. I can't deal with this. She said, okay. She went away and she didn't come back because it's around 11 o'clock. She didn't come back to about midnight. Then when she came back, I was like, okay, like, where's the epidural? I really need an epidural now. And she was just like, oh, let me check you first before I call the doctor to come and, you know, do the whole procedure for, you know, getting an epidural done. She checked me now and I was at 10 centimeters. I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm at 10. Like, I've asked for this epidural and she's just gone off, come back and told me, basically, no, I can't have it. So she's now like, okay, we're just going to wait a bit. I want us to wait. This is around 12 o'clock. I want us to wait a bit and see how your body's going to, you know, behave over the next, 20 minutes. Then as she's saying that, I was just like, no, like, I need to push. Like, you don't understand. Now I need to push. I just felt like this heavy pressure in my bottom, like proper, like hard pressure in my bottom. And I thought, oh my God, I think this baby's coming. My mum stands up and she like comes right in front of me. I'm just like, Mum, like, move to the side. Like, this is not the time. And then she goes, okay, I'm coming. She takes off like the bottom half of the bed and then she puts my leg up on those, I don't know, like stand things so she can really open my legs wide. And then I start pushing. It's like, oh, I start pushing. And as I'm pushing, Abigail's head just kept like sliding backwards and forwards. I'm like, oh my God. My mum was standing in front of me and she's just like, what's that? I can see the head. Push harder. I'm just like, Mum, move to the side. Like, this is not the time. And then Mum's like, push harder. So I was basically pushing Abigail's head for about 40 minutes and I still couldn't get her head out. The midwife was now like, oh, if you can't push your head out in the next 10 minutes, I have to go and call the doctor to come and cut you And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, no. I just thought in my head, no, I don't want that. So then the next couple of contractions, I just managed to push her head out. As I pushed her head out, the sting and the burn, I was like, oh, I didn't even know at that point, because I was so high because of the gas and air, I didn't even know what to do. I was just stunned at the level of pain I was feeling at that point. And then the next contraction after that, her body just came out, and then boom, she put her right on top of me. But I was so dizzy that I couldn't even really look at Abigail. I was just like, my eyes was just all over the place. And then they just took her off me straight away, put her on the bed thing, started cleaning her down. And then when the midwife turned around, she was just like, oh, okay, like she gave me the injection, I think, to kind of bring on another contraction so that I could like deliver the placenta. So she did that, and then after 10 minutes, I pushed the placenta out. Then once the placenta came out, then I started bleeding like heavily. Like my mum was too busy like looking at the baby, and then I just started bleeding. And then she told my partner to press the red button, because there's a red button that you press for an emergency. And then there was about 10 different midwives came rushing into the room. A doctor came rushing in. And then she was just like, oh, we're going to have to check you now because you're bleeding. Like, you're not stopping bleeding. Like, it's really pouring out. And then she kind of, the doctor that comes in said, oh, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to check you. So she kind of puts her hand back in to kind of check, like, how badly I've torn. And then she was now like, oh, yeah, you've got a 2nd-degree tear. So she was now like, oh, we have to either, she just said we have to give you 2 options. Either we sew you in the room now, or we take you to theatre and sew you at theatre. So I was just like, you know what, option 2, let's just go. So Abigail was born at 1:30. So it took me from about 12 to about 1:30 to get her out. So at 1:30, I didn't even get to carry Abigail. They just rushed me straight off to theatre, and then I was in theatre till 4 o'clock. So from 1:30 a.m. in the morning, on the 30th of June, I was there till 4 o'clock, getting stitched up. And then after that, I came out, and then I was in recovery for about 2 hours. So it wasn't until about 7 o'clock that I actually really got to see Abby. And then, yeah, I was just in recovery that day. And yeah, that was it. That's Abigail at the back. So, yeah, I was just in recovery that day. Like around the afternoon, like 12 o'clock. That's when my family came over to come and see me and stuff. And then the midwife comes again to come and check the baby over, check how I'm doing. And then, yeah, around 9 p.m. that same day, I went home. Here she is. Abby, say hello. She's looking out the window. So yeah, it was tough. I would say it was very, very tough. It was very tough. Labour is definitely not easy, I would say. It's definitely not easy at all. But I managed to soldier through. My next video, anyway, will be a bit more about Abby. There she is. A bit more about Abby. She's 2 months now, by the way. She's 2 months. So I'll just give you a bit more of an update about Abigail. Abby, say hello. Sorry if I'm looking straight ahead. I'm still trying to get used to the camera. But yeah, the next video will be a 2-month update about Abigail. So yeah, I hope my video kind of helped you guys. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comment section. So thank you for watching my video. Please comment, like and subscribe. Bye guys.